A whisper on the wind, the legend begins. Her name, a whisper, a shudder, Medusa. Once a beauty unmatched, now a monster to petrify the world. Her tale, a tapestry of tragedy, woven with threads of envy, despair, and rage. Prepare yourself. This is no mere story. It is a descent into the heart of myth. Imagine a creature so horrifying a glance could end you, turn you to stone, a mere statue of your former self. This is Medusa. But she was not always this way. Once she was a woman of unparalleled beauty. Hair like spun gold, eyes like pools of liquid amber. Her story, a reminder that even the brightest light can be consumed by darkness. Her tale spread like wildfire, carried on the breath of the north wind. From the heights of Mount Olympus to the depths of the underworld, a cautionary whisper, a reminder of the gods' capricious nature and the terrible price of their wrath. This is where we begin, at the precipice of her transformation, before the snake-filled tresses, before the deadly gaze, before the name Medusa became synonymous with terror. The transformation was swift, brutal, a punishment that fit the supposed crime. Medusa's famed beauty, her most cherished asset, became her curse. Her once soft skin hardened, taking on a greenish hue. Her delicate features twisted into a grotesque mask. And then, the hair. Once golden strands, now a writhing nest of vipers. Each serpent hissed and spat, a horrifying halo around her head. But the true horror lay in her eyes. Once warm and inviting, they now burned with a cold reptilian fire. A single glance held the power to turn flesh to stone. The beautiful maiden vanished. In her place, a monster, a gorgon, a creature to be feared. Medusa the beautiful was no more. Why? Why such a fate? The answer lies with Athena, goddess of wisdom, war, and crafts. Medusa's beauty, once a source of pride, became her undoing. It attracted the attention of Poseidon, god of the sea, a dangerous liaison in Athena's sacred temple. Whether Medusa was a willing participant or an unwilling victim, the details are lost to time. What remained was the sacrilege, the violation of Athena's sacred space. Her fury was swift, terrible, and absolute, the wrath of a scorned goddess. Athena could not abide such a transgression. Her anger, a force of nature, focused on Medusa. A punishment was in order, one that would serve as a warning to all who dared to defy the gods. Thus, the curse, a fate arguably worse than death. Medusa, once admired for her beauty, would now be feared for her monstrous visage. Condemned to a life of solitude, her very presence a danger to all who crossed her path. She became a pariah, a symbol of divine wrath. Her name, a curse upon the lips of mortals. Section 4. A gaze of stone, Medusa's deadly power. The gaze, her most terrifying weapon. Those who met her eyes were lost, literally turned to stone. A forest of statues grew around her lair, a testament to her terrible power. Men, heroes, even beasts, all frozen in time, some with expressions of terror etched on their stone faces, others caught in the midst of battle, swords forever frozen mid-swing. A grim tableau of her victims, a silent testament to her curse. This was the price of looking upon Medusa. To truly see her was to cease to be. Imagine, if you will, the fear, the knowledge that a single glance could be your last, to be so close to something so powerful, so utterly deadly. The urge to look away must have been overwhelming, but curiosity, that most human of flaws, often proved too strong to resist. And thus the forest of statues grew, each one a story cut short, a life extinguished by the Gorgon's gaze. A chilling reminder of her power, a power that isolated her, turning her into a prisoner of her own making. Section 5, the hero's quest, Perseus and the Gorgon's head. Enter Perseus, a hero on a quest, tasked with the impossible, to bring back the head of Medusa. A suicide mission, some would say, but Perseus, favored by the gods, had a plan. He would use cunning where brute force would fail. Armed with a reflective shield, a gift from Athena herself, Perseus ventured forth. He sought the Gorgon's lair, his heart heavy with the weight of his task. He knew the danger. He had heard the whispers, seen the statues, but he was determined. Stealthily, he approached Medusa's lair, the ground littered with the stone remains of her victims. He could hear the hiss of her serpentine hair, smell the stench of death that clung to the air. Fear threatened to overwhelm him, but he pressed on. He had to succeed. Using the reflection in his shield, Perseus avoided Medusa's deadly gaze. He moved with a speed and agility that belied his human form. He struck, his blade guided by the gods themselves. Section 6. A trophy of terror, the head of Medusa. The battle was swift, brutal. With a single well-aimed blow, Perseus severed Medusa's head. Even in death, her eyes retained their power, turning the earth beneath her to stone. From her severed neck sprang forth Pegasus, the winged horse, and Chrysaor, a giant with a golden sword. Proof of Poseidon's dalliance, Perseus, tasked with the impossible, had succeeded. He held aloft the severed head, its eyes still blazing with a terrifying light now under his control. The Gorgon's blood, a potent elixir, dripped from the severed neck, each drop capable of unimaginable power. He collected the head in a special sack, a prize and a burden, a weapon to be used against his enemies. But the victory was bittersweet. For in death, Medusa was finally free from her curse. Her reign of terror was over. The head, a gruesome trophy, became a symbol of both power and terror, a reminder of the Gorgon's might and the hero who had vanquished her. But it was also a stark reminder of the capricious nature of the gods and the terrible price of their wrath. Section 7. Echoes of the Gorgon, reflections on beauty, power, and vengeance. Medusa's story is a tragedy, a tale of beauty twisted into monstrosity, a cautionary reminder of the fickle nature of fate. She remains an enigma. Her story resonates through the ages, a potent symbol of female rage and the destructive nature of both beauty and power. Was she a villain, a monster who deserved her fate, or was she a victim, punished for the sins of others? The answer, like most things in mythology, is not so simple. Her story forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about power, desire, and the consequences of our actions. She is both a figure of terror and a symbol of female empowerment.